So and more.
She said a story person.
She does. She's starting to, from the next McDonald's. More mark. That's what I call it. I guess you get up leaving that and then there's no meeting.
Pretty bad.
I just want to
I don't really have much to present.
I got this email.
I assume
HR to the rest of it shows all the good.
nothing right, even though it's not.
Lexington picks your best.
Yes, it does.
That's just good.
Oh, that's nice. I'm not sure we have to.
Okay, nice.
I didn't have it.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
We'll get them.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Okay.
The signature file. Okay, yeah.
All right, I'll call to order the Board of County Commissioners of Neosho County. We're in Erie, Kansas. This is our regular public meeting. It is Tuesday, January the 17th of 2023. We will start the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Danny Filippo from Erie Baptist Church. You'll come up to the platform.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we thank you, Father, for our commissioners. We thank you for everyone that's here at the meeting. We ask you, Lord, today to intervene, help them, give them wisdom, give them godly wisdom, bless the family, bless the meeting, the business at hand. Lord, let it represent the people, and Lord, just help them make a good decision. We'll praise you for it, Lord. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda as presented? I think there's a new one here.
Yes. Have some discussion about the landfill.
Under Mike's.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have public comment, and if you'll see in your packets, I had Heather copy our resolution that addresses public comments, just kind of for us to refresh our memory of why we have public comment and kind of the restrictions that we have on it. Basically, we allow 3 to 5 minutes for citizens to speak. And this isn't a time that we actually do business, but basically just listen. So, I think those are in there, right, Heather?
Yeah.
It's from 2010, so it's been in place for a while. So is there anyone that wants to address us through public comment? All right, we'll go on to a scheduled attendees. I think we have everyone here. So first we have Jason Cleaver.
Good
You want
afternoon.
to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Jason Cleaver. I'm chairman of the board for Consolidated Rural Water District Number 1, for water district that serves Erie, Shaw, 2 sides of it. Part of it's 180 centimeters on the Erie side, which Shaw's included in that, and then we have 90-some meters on the Chanute side. We're here requesting ARPA funds for our meter replacement. Our meters are starting to fail. We've got 30 of them right now that are need to be replaced, whether we get these funds or not. And so it's a matter of time here before the rest of them are. I don't know, Heather have your quote, or all the quotes and information in your packets. Yeah. Yeah, so there was, we've got one pump we got pump
That's
houses.
not,
Yes,
that's 7. I don't think we have for one, all we have is his request.
Ow.
That's all I could find.
I brought a copy of it.
I can go get copies.
There's,
We can change water boards, I'll go get the copy.
you wanna come in?
sure.
I have
Yeah.
Aaron's information.
It's there, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Jason, I'll
That's
go
okay.
get it right now.
If you want, there's everything right there if you want. Throw it on
I
top.
emailed it to them, but I did not reprint it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there was 2 emails. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm Darren Young, chairman of the water board for 7. We're here looking for funds too for the meters. We're serving 64 families, businesses from east to Chanute, east and south, and to the Allen County line. So we're looking at electronic meters to help get more accountable on the billing, more consistent billing rate. Right now, they're read by the owners of the meters, and they don't always get read, or they estimate them, so don't always know exactly what we're using or what we're paying for the month. And our meters are old and need replacing, and we're looking at doing electronic for that reason.
Okay, and you do have quotes then on replacing.
Yep. We got a quote 260 meters right now, $108,000, $712.75 for the meters and installation of them, and a laptop to read them, and billing software.
It's kind of what we've heard from other districts also.
Yep.
We've been pretty even about how we fund them as
Mhm.
far as per meter. 418,
419.
419, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done a little research, I guess, Jason, even before you. After you called me, I was like, wait, how many more rural water districts do we have? And one was number 12, so I'm like, oh, we're not even close to having 12. So I called the state rural water organization and got some figures. So here is, if you want to pass those down to Heather and Brett. Here's what the state gave me. This is how many districts we have, how many meters, and how many are outside of Neosho County. So in rural water district number 7, you have, according to the state, 6 that are outside of our county.
Yeah, that's probably
Something
about
like
right.
that. Here is a map if you want to know where all the districts are. You can also go on the website because it's not colored, a little bit harder to read. So then, here are all the districts then according to the state, how many customers are in Neosho County, how many we've approved, how many we have not approved. The 2 today, and then there's actually 3 more that could approach us. So, just so we have a really good idea of what the whole picture looks like. So the top is from the state as far as customers, and then these are the ones we approved. We have not approved, which includes the 2 today. Breakdown at the bottom then is what we've already approved, is $569,000. The two today will be approximately $220,000. We have another $173,000 for a total for the whole project to do the whole county would be $964,000 at $419.10 a meter. Those are approximate. The numbers are just a little bit off, I think, because of the state had a little bit different figures, maybe 1 or 2 meters inside or outside of the county. And what we got from the first districts that came to approach us. So there's that information, if that helps. Also on the back, it tells you how much ARPA funds we have. So we have $700,000 left before today. So the first 4 that we have already okayed. So if we have another, basically $400,000 off of that would only leave us $300,000 in ARPA funds if we funded the whole district or the whole county. So those are just good figures to have I wish I would have had those figures maybe at the beginning. There's always, when you're sitting in this position, it's like, well, I didn't know that much about rural water that I do now. So there's a lot of rural water districts. There's a lot of people that rely on rural water. And I think it's one of the most important functions that we have. People can't live without clean water. And so it's just vitally important, and obviously from a lot of the different districts that have come, it's something that's probably been neglected. It's hard to get funded. So I've been very happy to fund these projects, that it is a very large sum.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. There's a lot of miles of rural water out there that's been in the ground for quite some time.
Well, and the other thing is wastage, and I know that's what most of the districts want to get away from is wastage and not being able to detect leaks quicker and.
Yeah, I have a better idea when you're getting the leaks, but you know, we're running 25 to 40% water loss every month. So it's just due to the fact that the lines are as old as they are and some of the terrain that they go through. And it's just part of it.
So there
Just trying to minimize all the water loss we can.
Right. So there are about 2,200 customers in the county, but households, meters, total. So I can already see. Okay. That number is not correct already on the bottom, but I'm not an expert on Excel spreadsheets, but the total for project there, I don't think that's correct. So, where we want to go from here?
I think we should still continue to fund it, because I think we've kept it through, and I mean, it's a service the whole county is benefiting from, and using the funds to kind of saturate the whole county.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best uses of money we've seen out of it as far as helping the mass populace of the county, so.
A large area.
Can I interject here real quick?
Sure.
Hopefully we can just do this, both of them together. You know, so if we, these funds that we're using to upgrade these meters, so then we can use that, the funds that we had allocated, that we've been building up or we can use that for upgrading lines that, all our lines were put in the early 80s. So, they're 40 years old. They're starting to,
You're about 20 years ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, well, we are one of the newer districts. Our lines are 40 years old, and so they're going to start failing as are theirs. So this money that we would have to be paying out of pocket for these meters, this money that we can use for upgrading our systems.
Oh, no problem.
So you're wanting, this request is for 260 meters?
Yes.
Technically, the state says you have 250.
250. Some of those meters are in, pastures. People have them out there, they're not using them when there's And some of them just benefit units that may not be being used either, they just have them to have value to the property, or in case they build there.
Actual tap areas.
Right.
So did we get the paperwork?
Yeah, it's in here.
Okay. So to have qualified for ARPA also, it has to be, has to actually be a project. It has to be a project that can go out for bids. It can't be done by your people. It has to actually be a contract. It has to be approved by, we have someone handling our ARPA funds with, Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission, right? Or is she with
CRD and-
Chanute Regional?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chanute Regional Planning Commission, that has to approve this and make sure then everything qualifies, and she'll follow throughout the project, to get funds. So, that's why, Jason, do you actually have a project here that,
There's,
okay,
there's an estimate from a contractor to do the installation, and there's install the meters and meter pricing.
Do the meter work by, as you're driving lines, or is it like it automatically picks it up as you drive the pattern
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the district?
Yeah, the operator has to drive the pattern, and they have a laptop inside the truck, and it reads it as they drive by.
I didn't know if it had a wireless transmitter like some propane companies do as far as signaling out, so.
They have that technology.
Mm-hmm. But cost is.
Well, the cost is actually about the same. It's a touch higher. The problem is some of our rural areas, I think if you were in like the city of Erie or the city of Chanute, where you have good cell phone coverage,
Mhm.
and but you look at some of our areas, or out where you live,
No.
out where you live, there's lots of hills and valleys. Well, they're not as responsive in some of the wooded, more rural areas. But, so the ones we're doing are drive by.
I didn't know how that,
Mm-hmm.
then also you get a watch for lease or something, never know what might happen.
Yeah.
Here.
Right.
Yeah, the system we're looking at, it'll tell you, when you drive by that reads on a cell phone, it'll tell you right then if it read right, and it'll say, oh, you got a high water usage or low water usage, or so then you can kind of check it as you're going by.
according to the state, you have one extra meter than what you,
We
But-
just,
so you,
there was a new house built on, is it Marshall Road? Kyle Schultz, he just built a house.
Mead Road.
Mead Road, all right. Yep, one of the M's over there, that probably would not be on their
okay,
sheet yet. So my funding total is based on the 271 resident, usable meters. And then I can purchase 280, so we have some spares. It takes a few months to get them, so.
so then we would be, so Jason, yours would be 271 meters. And Darren, you're asking for 260,
64, yeah.
264?
Yeah, that's why we're serving all the family. The quote was just for 260, just to get started on it.
Okay. I don't know, they're
And then
showing
there's a quote in
250.
there for an installation also. For more construction.
I think last time we did.
I think if we can help them get down the road, water's too important.
Right.
It's a precious little commodity, and if you're having that much wastage on up to 25%, on how many gallons per month, I mean, it's going back in the environment, but
Right.
You're wasting,
Not in a good way.
not in a good way, no.
Yeah.
You're buying that water somewhere else, so your operational costs go
Right.
up.
Wholesale 23, we're getting all of it.
So I guess how many, do we wanna go by the state figure here of 250 for District 7 or 260?
What they request, that'll be a few bucks from meters.
Okay.
Hopefully we get some more residential customers.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta have a park system too, of some sort.
Yeah, we've added several in the last couple months.
So 272 and 260.
I'll make the motion.
Separate motion if you want. That'd be good.
To allow them to seek ARPA funding through CRDA or Chinook Regional Planning.
Approval.
Yeah, in the amount of $419 and some odd
10
cents.
cents.
10 cents. Following all the guidelines in that process for Rural Water District 1 for 272 meters.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 3-0. I'll make a motion that with approval of CRDA, ARPA funds, that we approve 260 meters times $419.10 for Rural Water District number 7.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 3-0. So you need to call CRDA and talk to
Taylor.
Ms. Taylor. It's good. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Forgot her first name. And she will get with you and see what the requirements are. And then when the project goes along, then we can approve the funds. Thanks for coming, and
Thank you, appreciate it. Very much.
we appreciate what you guys do.
Thanks, Heather.
You're welcome.
Take care,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
So, anyway, we might get a decision. The ones are kind of small, but it's nice that we can do that. I think it's very needed, and
That raise will be, the waste of here in the 25% is just amazing amounts of water that you're talking
It is.
about.
and we know how precious water is right now. Right, we're a little early, but Stan's here, so
I'm ready if you are.
we are ready.
Okay. Stan Dazzler, 6443 Kidman Road, Galesburg, Chair of the Neosho Ridge Wind Farm Advisory Committee. Last Tuesday evening, we did have a meeting, and we met at the Leroy and Cheryl Burke residence in the middle of the footprint, and Commissioner Westall was present. And I think his experience of sitting on the front porch in the middle of all of those lights was a different experience than watching those lights out on the horizon and living outside the footprint. Had an accurate characterization, Paul?
A lot different,
Yes.
a lot different from my place.
Yeah. And so I think it's a fair statement that he has come around to the point of view of the committee that although noise is an issue, we don't like the noise, the number one thing we can do to change the quality of life in the footprint is to change out those lights for radar activated lights. One thing, nobody's really come up with a cure for the noise. And the noise is intermittent. I mean, it's louder at some times, it's softer at some times, it just exists at some times, and so on. But again, I think he could understand, and a member of the committee said, it was like a precious act from God when those things went off. And we had 3 months with normal lights. I mean, psychologically, that's how it felt. So I hazarded one legal opinion when we were together, and that would be that a legal opinion from the county councilor could be requested by one commissioner. I don't know if you all agree with that or not, but Commissioner Gilmore, we remember that you were the one that came up with the idea of the franchise tax, which we still think is a lovely idea and may be a way to get through this, but I don't think any of us know legally where we stand on our ability to do that. So Paul volunteered that night to make the request for that legal opinion, and we're hoping that that's something he has the ability to do, or that the majority of the commission would support him in that area.
I talked to Brett a little bit before the meeting about it,
Okay.
and he kind of, Brett, you tell him what you told me.
Well, basically, as far as the franchise tax goes, I want to research, first of all, what the agreement was when the wind farm came in. That'd be my starting point.
Okay.
And we kind of work backward from there and look at the franchise tax as a whole, and not just look at that as the only remedy, but perhaps just see where that takes us.
Okay.
And perhaps set it over for 30 days, and we'll research that issue, see if that's applicable to the wind farm, and if that's not applicable, if there's something else that is or could be. And then present that to the council, and if the council directs, I can present that to the advisory board as well, and we can decide how to proceed.
That sounds great. In fact, as I remember, the proposition that Commissioner Gilmore raised was the idea that the electricity itself could be taxed. I don't know about that, but that's another angle we suggest. I think that's what cities do.
So the transmission rates out of our state, out of our county, so and that's what I didn't know. The benefit is going outside of the state, so how that would be.
We can certainly look into it. I mean, it's a good question.
And the idea being that if we have the ability to do that, that might be the leverage necessary to get these lights changed down. The other thing we talked about, and I don't know if you're handling the litigation against Apex or somebody else is, but now that you all are in the litigation situation, like most lawsuits, I imagine at some point in time settlement will be discussed, and perhaps the issue of the lights can be included in an overall settlement. That might be another thing. One of the things that occurred to me going into that meeting, and I don't know if this has happened or not, it occurred to me that commissioners might look at the committee and say, well, these are a bunch of people in the footprint who had the opportunity to make money. They could have signed contracts like everybody else, and they'd be making money, and perhaps they wouldn't have any grievances. That's not true of life inside the footprint. That's true of a few of us. My neighbor, Kelly Cooper, was never offered a contract. I think there are a lot of people, I know from campaigning, we've got a lot of small home tracts out there. And I don't think any of those people were probably offered a contract. It wasn't necessary to the project itself. So what I'd really like for you to think in terms of, as you think about this, there's a lot of victims. It's not just a few of us with quarter sections. There are a lot of victims. And it's the other victims, frankly, I'm feeling more sorry for than I do myself. If you take those working people who found their dream home in the country, they're 5 acres, and they're doing the mortgage as high as they can do it. It's basically their life savings. And they went for country living. They got noise and lights all the time. I hope you'll consider their plight in whatever action you decide to take. Finally, as Paul and I talked about, if it eventually comes down to money, I know no commissioner ever likes to spend money, but again, I would really like for everybody to understand, it's the footprint. It's not even the entire first district. It's the footprint that's giving you $10 million a year. And it's only appropriate that some of that be spent to improve the quality of life within the footprint. All we've ever done, we've come in this way. We believe in green energy. We believe that people have a right to lease their land. But this thing ought to be a good neighbor. And if it takes some of the private fund money to make it a good neighbor, I certainly hope everybody think about that. And I've heard the complaint if we spread the money out, we're buying future commissions, but we're only here today because future commission's already been bound. I mean, we're dealing with something that was decided some time ago. So I think we've got that reality no matter what we do. We'll meet again probably in 60 days or so. Give you a chance, it gives you plenty of time to do your legal research. Counselor, does that give you enough?
Yes, yeah. Plenty of time.
Another thing I will do between now and then is call that FAA representative. I don't think that letter answered questions very well. Everybody on the committee said, we still don't understand how there could be lights for 90, 120 days, but what we have to have the other times. I think it's a question that needs to be answered. So anything else you want from us, I'm listening. But again, please appreciate our plight. Empathize, please. Thank
I
you.
hope we found remedies, Steve.
Sir.
Part of that.
Oh, and each of you are invited to come individually. If you don't want an open meeting problem, come together if you want to post a notice. But we love for you to have the front porch experience that Paul had. I think it just changes your outlook when you sit in the middle of those things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
So, does Britt need more direction than that, or I think we did?
No, we'll start off with the franchise tax issue and just work out from there.
Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions? I'll move that we approve the consent agenda, which includes accounts payable of $224,052.07, payroll clearing of $190,222.48, minutes from January the 3rd, 2023, leave request from 911 director for 24 hours, and also leave request for maintenance director for 24 hours.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. We want to start with finding those. All right, I guess we are ready for department heads. Who do we want to start with? Heather's on the list first, I think.
Purposefully.
Okay, then we'll go with you.
Thank you. I just have the executive session.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't.
That's okay, pertaining to HR non-elected.
For 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I'll move to recess into executive session to discuss personnel matters and non-elected personnel regarding HR for 10 minutes to include the commission and council and HR. To resume back here at, let's say 2:45.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next one, you'll let me know.
For you to take care until you're done. Hi. Did she serve coffee up there? They all, everybody gets together for coffee if they're occasionally?
Occasionally, it's for free coffee shop, but they one of the meetings that that's the lady.
Where she got that courses?
Of course, it's not a coffee shop, it's just a boutique. It's right there on Main Street, you know where Bleacher Gear is? You know where Hallmark is, George's Hallmark?
Yeah,
Okay, right next door.
oh, okay, okay. Right there. Well, you have a good one, turn eye.
I will. See you later.
Have you, since I last spoke with you, you believe you guys have got some of those issues resolved from the auditor's report that you presented before? But I mean, can you elaborate on?
Well, I was talking about that time here. I'd rather not talk to you first. I'll talk to them.
I mean, but that's a specific issue you can't discuss or,
Well, they're looking at other proposals, but
well, I know that's, okay.
no, I'll be a few minutes to talk about it, about that.
I didn't know if that was the same thing you were gonna discuss about some of the previous stuff that you.
No, today is just for this thing a lot for next year.
Well, I mean, but that's what I mean about some of the stuff you said have been resolved.
But it wouldn't be right for me to talk to you first, or I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Because they're,
Okay, but that's a totally different topic, so, yeah, I don't get it, but it's fine. Let's go. Pretty good.
I was wanting to say something to Paul, but I don't see him around, so.
He's in executive.
You what?
He went into the executive session.
Oh,
He'll be out in about 10 minutes.
I don't want to wait that long. You can take care of it for me. Oh, gosh.
See you later.
Mike said he had something, but I see Shirley's got him cornered, so. Everything comes up as indexes, so IAs. I got the best road I ever had. And, you know, everything that, just like when we always said, oh, the property value's gonna go down. Property value's not gonna go down. Crap. It's gonna go up. You know, as the price of commodities goes up, the price of land goes up. And the price of land goes up, it means it's worth more, does it not? I sold it 80 acres last month, a couple months ago. Way down there. I got as much as I would have gotten 5 years ago. I got a lot more than I would have got 5 years ago. I'll say it differently. I got a lot more after. And the transfer line goes across it from the wind turbines. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good.
You know, we can, you know, just like standardized with Europe. If they put a tax on, you know, all that's gonna do is that the Empire Electric is gonna lose part of their profits. So they submit a request to increase their rates. So the people at Galena and Riverton and Joplin and all over, they're gonna have to pay for Stan's radar. That isn't right. If he wants to pay it, let him and Leo. Leroy Burke was talking about how good the commissioner was in Lubec County. And at one of the meetings, and I said, well, just a little after that, I said, Leroy, and he said, Leroy, you remember you got kicked out of the meeting down there. Anyhow, there's so many things, the roads, crap, they get potholes in them, it gets wet, they get worse. They've always been that way.
So where I live, which is the northeast, I said where I live in the northeast part of the county, we have the best roads bar none.
We've got, our road is
We
good,
have a really
our
good
road's
road.
good. That road that Mr. McCracken was talking about, it was a spur of the moment deal. They just put a foot of oil on a gravel road and put a layer of chassis, which at the time that took care of it. But it just, people just need to realize that they're in here. I don't have no turbines on my property. But it wouldn't bother me if I did, but they are generating a lot of income. They generate a lot of income for our county in sales tax. They leased all that equipment for Foley equipment. How much sales tax did that generate for our county, I wonder? Lots of it. We can find fault with everything, anything we want, we can find good with anything we want, anything. You know that, your daughter's already found that out. She can find a good day, if you take a good day, and somebody can turn it bad for her, It's not, there's nothing perfect. And I talk to Paul every once in a while, and I see what my question today was, why can't you put that in the funds? And I see what Gail was saying, I agree with her on that, is that it's not to give it to them. Well, you take care, it's good to talk to you. I'm gonna sell my Galesburg house one of these days, but I don't know when. Well,
The
daughter
one that's
got
at Harvard
married.
Church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daughter got married, and right now the granddaughters are living in it, going to school. One's going to Manhattan, one's going to Fort Scott, and one's going to Parsons. Well, the one going to Parsons will stay there, the one going to Manhattan will stay there, the one going to Fort Scott, she'll probably change it. She'll either go to Pittsburgh or Parsons, so.
They shouldn't be that old.
Huh?
I said they shouldn't be that old.
She was going to be a VOTEC teacher, but I think she's changed that to nursing now. And Hope's going to be a nurse. Maddie's still going after the vet, which I don't look like, but that's all right. It's who am I to
She's
say?
going after that, she probably ended up at K-State.
Well, it costs so much. Take care. Good talk to you.
See you later.
I'll see you, man.
When I asked you that, I don't understand your job.
Oh, I know.
I just, thought it was a different conversation we discussed it. But
Well,
it's
they're-
fine, I get it.
They're still a client.
Yeah, yeah. Just when you said it was something different, I just thought maybe you talked about it. Yeah, I get it. So,
Well, I'm here to see them both a bit for probably,
Yeah.
I want to share a couple.
Are you in, okay, that's what, you know how many years? All right, thanks.
Charlie catch you? Said, did Charlie catch you? Oh, he said he had something to talk to you about.
Oh.
Must have kept going. Hey, do you know when you're going to, do your Purple Wave stuff? And I know Holly talked to you about selling it in a month or two, okay.
Okay, we're back in session and no action was taken. Is that it, Heather?
That is all for me.
Appreciate it.
All right, Tanya?
Mine's pretty good today. We do have our new plotter and laminator. Both work great. The old plotter we would like to have put in with the Purple Wave sale when Mike gets his listed, and it's gonna be a month or two down the road, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. I have one other thing, move personal property back up to the front. They were just too crowded and we weren't able to have two full desks in that little office area. So it's working out well. We've got our files back down there that we use on a daily basis, so that's kind of helpful in and of itself. However, moving them back up there, they are back to where they do not have cell service. They've got Verizon, and anybody in this building that has Verizon knows you lack service. We have an extender, but I requested that they leave it down there because it is working for the people with Verizon down there, including customers that come in that have to make calls for whatever reason. A new one is $349.99. I had gone ahead and ordered it. The question is whether you guys will pay for it or whether I will pay for it. And this will be located probably right outside in the lobby or just inside our doors, so it will be accessible and give the signal that people will need in this direction and then into the treasurer's area. It does extend pretty good.
Do they have an extension already or?
No.
No.
No, because when we first got this, I believe it was Commissioner Orr that said we could get one of these if he could get Wi-Fi down here, and it was just kind of jokingly done, but it all was made to happen, and then we moved Carla because at the time she was the only personal property person back down there. Well, the extender came with her because she was the one that needed it initially, and we use it for customers, like I said. So if you've got US Cellular in here, you've got great signal. But Verizon does not, for some reason, come into the courthouse. So that's what this is for.
I think add, but operation.
I'm sorry. resolution that we need to pass?
Well, I'll hang around for it, but yes,
Oh.
that's.
If we wanna go ahead and do it now,
Yep, let's-
do we have any questions? You're here?
And that's 23B, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I had the original for signature.
Do you have a copy of that?
Not with me.
Do you wanna see it?
No, it's not.
I've got an extra copy.
So there were a few changes.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution R 23B, neighborhood revitalization plan. It's good for 2 years, correct?
Yes. I'll second that. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried 3-0. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There's 2 places to sign. All right, Mike, I guess that was you. Wow.
So, contract.
Good afternoon, everyone. Probably at the next meeting, hopefully we'll have some, paperwork and some sort of a formal agreement to, enter into the River Bridge project on Elk Road north of Chinook. Hopefully we'll have something from the state and from CFS as far as the engineering proposal. The Grady Road Bridge project is gonna be delayed. At this point, probably about, 5 weeks. We're still waiting on the, fiber optic cable to be moved. I looked at it, last week and it comes up out of the ground on the west side of the bridge. It's
possible that they may be able to go ahead and start to remove the old structure. But that'll be up to the contractor if he wants to take that chance, but there is gonna be a slight delay on that.
So that has to be moved by AT&T or
Yes.
the fiber?
It'll be moved, it won't be attached, this one's not actually attached, comes up over the wing wall, spans the length of the structure, and goes back down in the ground on the other side of the south wing wall, from north to south, and, when it gets moved, they'll put it towards the outer limits of the construction project. I asked Brett if he could help us out on the resolution to lower the speed limit on Chase Road between 190th and 200, and on 190th between 169 Highway going west to Chase Road. For temporary speed reduction because of the 21st and Plummer project for the duration of that project.
I believe that's 23C.
There's the original.
We've already put the signage up, and I've let Greg know that the signage is up, and we've got to go through the process before it can be enforced. But we always like to get them up a little bit ahead of time, that way people can get used to it before they start issuing citations.
Okay, so this is for, so Chase goes inside Chanute Country Club Road between 190th and 200th, so that is,
Just that 1 mile.
I'm sorry, did you not want to go south to?
Well, most of them are gonna get back on 35th Street. It's not written to go on farther south.
Kids going to school, I'm gonna cut straight
oh,
through,
back
back.
east from that intersection. From 200th to basically 169 intersection is
Yeah,
correct
it's
also.
included in that, the 35th west.
From,
No, it's 190th. We didn't put 200 road wasn't on that request.
190th,
Well, on Chase between 190th and 200th, and then
Right.
190th from
Chase.
169 to Chase.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's what I was,
Okay.
if you go south of 200, that road will be used by school kids.
South of 200?
east,
Huh?
east.
Well, just, they'll cut around and go by Horizon, instead of going into Santa Fe, they'll cut around and
So are you wanting the road going back east to 169
go.
intersection?
Going west from the high school
Yes,
to Chase in the north.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah,
that,
and all the way up. I was just, that will make sure that was in that little box, brown, not brown. It'll be that cutout.
well, Chase is the next road to the west.
West, right.
So,
so we're doing,
There'll be,
let me make sure. I don't know if it's on here, Brown. This is
we're not-
Chase.
Brown is
not the brown, no. I just wanna make sure we cover any of this little. There's lots of houses, I mean, rural houses out there, but this will be getting pummeled west of the airport with the traffic straight down Country Club Road. Cause they can leave from 7th Street, come over to Chase and go straight down and cut around the high school instead of going all the way through town to hit Santa Fe and come around.
okay.
But from the airport, it's paved
Yeah,
down to
and it's already 30,
200.
if I ever remember correctly. Cause we had to match up the city speed limits out there with Country Club. Did we ever get that done? We matched all those speed limits up.
Years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
That's been a long
They're-
time.
Yeah.
I'm more
They're having
concerned,
45 on one side and 30, I know we matched up their speed.
I'm more concerned with 200 going past Chase out to, because you have that curve, right now you have the highway traffic coming in at 55 miles an hour, then all of a sudden you're gonna have the road closed. I haven't been out there to see the signage, but I just feel like with the railroad, John, that maybe we should slow it down before that, so that they're prepared when the closure comes.
Moving.
And I was, we fully intended to do that, and I was gonna get Brett the additional information to make that a separate resolution, because that'll probably be a permanent one.
But I think it'd be nice also to have it permanent with Horizon there now. I think that we need to start 45, so that when that intersection opens up, traffic is coming in at 55 miles an hour.
Move it back to Brown Road
Yeah.
on that
I think
Brown
we should.
and then
Or
At least
45.
halfway to Brown,
About to the railroad track.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
right before the
that's where
railroad
curve
tracks.
I would
I think
do
if we slow traffic
west of the
down,
railroad tracks, because that is
Yeah.
not a good intersection.
yeah.
But
And
that
then
would
that
be,
way-
that would be more, that would be a permanent
Okay.
speed reduction.
So if we wanna work on that,
Separate.
okay. I just,
Yeah,
I have had
I'm with
concerns
you
for
on
that for a
because-
while with Horizon continuing to increase
Straight
their
on.
traffic. That I would like to see when that intersection opens, more equal speeds of the traffic coming to that intersection. 45 is still gonna be more than the other three sides, but it's better than 55.
Well, you'll get people that are coming from the north and west will come down, get off on the 39 highway, come around to Country Club and go straight out to Horizon too, so you're gonna get that traffic.
So for the 45, where do you want to, you want it on 200 Road, or where do you want to start, or where do you want to end?
Well, we can do Brown.
Just do Brown. Yeah. It's only about a quarter mile, maybe a half mile.
Probably about a
that.
Yeah. Start there. Yeah.
Do you want speed limit on the east side of the intersection?
Yeah.
Don't wanna make people mad, getting it too far out there. Again,
We're gonna make,
Well,
I just think that it's just a
it's
safe.
worse when the rail line went through there.
Oh. Well,
So it's
I don't know, it is not a good, it's just not a good road. And it's sure, I really am concerned about it being 55,
Yeah.
with the roads being open, and now that they're closed, Brown's closed for that small section, yeah. I
Do
would
I
like
go
to
from
see-
Brown to Chase, or do you wanna go beyond?
I think we need to go Plummer,
Yeah.
from Plummer,
Okay,
so Brown into city limits,
okay.
making that 45 permanently.
Actually, you would wanna go from Brown to Plummer if you're gonna do that, not to the city limit,
Okay.
because the city, it's an odd deal.
Okay.
Because it's 30 mile
It
an
goes
hour.
past that.
The city limits is somewhere by Beechner Drain, and from there to Plummer, it's 30 mile an hour.
Gotcha.
Correct, sorry, you're right, so if we do Plummer,
Okay.
or whatever that
Is there a
is, a county
speed,
road.
though? Isn't there a speed right by the cemetery?
Nope,
Not
Nope.
going west?
nope.
I couldn't remember, I was just thinking there used to be a speed limit.
We
right
did
there.
a study, we had CFS
There's
come
been-
and do a study, I was gonna get that and I forgot,
There's been
grab that with
requests
speed
in the
limits.
past a little bit from some of the
Nope.
residents in the area.
Nope, it's 55 all the way in front of Horizon, down that hill to the intersection, so. I don't think people drive that live in this
Oh, there's a lot
area,
of
but
traffic on that old highway.
there's a lot. So the passing of this resolution, then we'll get those two sections of roads that are gravel, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Motion. Adopt resolution R 23C pertaining to speed limit reduction. What mile per hour did it? 30 on Chase Road between 190 to 200th Road and 190 Road to US 169 to Chase. 30 miles an hour.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 3-0. And this will be in force until we rescind that agenda, right? That resolution.
For the duration of the 21st Diploma Rebuild Project.
And it is underway.
Yes. I was up there last Friday and, they were right in the middle of doing the removal of the old, intersection. There was some issues with, cars trying to slip through. That's not uncommon on a street project like that, but I think they, the contractor put up additional barricades.
They also had added law enforcement,
Yeah, a little extra.
3 different divisions that helped slow it down a little bit.
And I did want to say, one of the residents I talked to, it wasn't the high school students doing it.
Right.
So he said the students had pretty well stayed out of the area. So
I
that's
know
good to
one
know.
person that drove through the yard.
They're not the only one.
Mhm.
So,
There's somebody that lived out there that got threatened.
so,
I have, 2 training requests for, an officer suite director, Deacon Strickland. One of them is for, February 28th through the March the 3rd. Which is basic officer suite training, and another one is, March 6th through 10th. And I take that back. One, March 6th through the 10th is basic noxious weed training, and the one on February 28th through the 3rd is continuing education to keep his license. So,
I think we just approved the invoices, so. It's good to have someone in that position.
yeah, then Deacon's a good fit. He'll be a good noxious weed director.
I don't have a problem with that.
We really don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Not if we're gonna have a director.
I'll make the motion to approve training request for Deacon Strickland for Roger Sweet Director. March 6th through the 10th. Didn't say what the training was on that one. And February 28th to March 3rd, the recertification of 1A, 9A license.
I'll second it. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We're finally finalizing our flood damage from FEMA from the 2019 flood, and it looks like we're going to get reimbursed for the amount of $136,847.82. Sure happy to finally get that much money, and there's still just a little tiny sliver of hope for the old bridge south of Erie. We haven't finalized that yet, but I'm still working on it.
Through FEMA?
Yes. So, but if the commission would accept that offer, I'll go ahead and send the paperwork in to accept that. Now, this will not have any bearing on the old bridge. This is just for road repairs that we have expenses for. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve the application to FEMA for $136,000
$847.82.
for the 2019 flood damage to our roads.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carried.
Okay, I've got Paul, you sent me a text, message last week regarding, the log from landfill for the last, 3 months.
Yes.
I have that here with me.
Thank you.
Would you care to discuss that here? I don't understand what the request is about.
I just want to see how busy we are out there. I know we've talked about before, I know Nick's even brought it up a few years ago about cutting back the days because we're losing like $50,000 a year out there. And, you know, I just want to know how many, who's coming in, how many people are coming in per day, you know? And what's our busiest days, you know? I'm sure Saturday would be one of the busiest. But we talked about 2 days a week. You know, I think it's not like the old days back when we got trash pickup now.
Right.
I mean, that thing used to be busy all the time. It just went down. Like a waste of taxpayers' money out there.
I'm not concerned with the liability of the landfill, it's just been always a sore spot. As you say, we just lost money every year, that I've even been in office, I know that. Beyond, it's just like I know it's a service to the county, but at what point do we either raise the rates enough to at least maintain the cost of it, or peel it off to, if there's an interest party elsewhere can get taken?
I think I was reading that Labette County has an outside firm that does their landfill. Who would be interested in that, but, I mean, I think
really?
it's
I didn't know
something that we need to look at between now and budget time. We've somewhat budgeted for this year, but I think it's a good thing to start looking at and see our options.
Okay. I just, I was a little concerned about this frankly, because it seems like the landfill has had a lot more attention brought on it since the discussion of the re-election cards that you gave the operator out there to pass out to the public.
Oh, that has nothing to do with it, you're wrong.
Okay, but there's never been a request, before regarding that. I see something here that's a little bit troubling to me. Because this is the first time you've requested anything from there, and to my knowledge, it just concerns me.
No, it does, it does.
So, anyway, there it is.
Thank you.
I need probably a 10-minute executive session with the commission and council and HR regarding non-elected personnel.
I'll move to recess into executive session to discuss personnel matters and non-elected personnel regarding Road and Bridge for 10 minutes to include the commission, council, HR, and Road and Bridge director. Resume back here at 3:25.
Second, sir.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried 3-0.
Mine over here says steal it.
I'll get caught on camera if I do that.
Yes, let's sit and do business. You do business. Yeah.
holding you to that. That's the $1 million question.
Yeah, that's.
No, the $2 million question.
We're back in session and no action was taken.
I have several applications that have come in recently, and I would like to set up some interviews with some of those, and if we have any qualified applicants, try to put them to work. If that's okay with the commission.
I don't have a problem.
I think with approval with HR, of overseeing of HR involved in the process of interviews, right?
If we want, we haven't been doing that.
Oh, we haven't?
It's been up
Okay.
to the discretion of Mike if he
Oh,
wanted
I'm
us
sorry.
present or not.
Do it.
It's fine. I was just, whatever we've done in the past.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Okay.
Can we get a motion on that?
I'll move. So I'm to go in the interviews for maybe 2 positions right now.
Let's go up to 2 for them.
I'll second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
A while back, I think I sent you pictures of the box culvert on Line Road south of 70th. It's got the same issues that the one on 150th and Jackson Road had. I sent those pictures to Tanner, and he's in discussion with the folks with ATEX and IEA on how they want to deal with that. Just wanted to bring that up. And also, we're still, the box culvert on 150th between Douglas and Elk, we're still trying to figure out how they're gonna fix that. I've called for, or asked for a total replacement, because I figured, or I feel that, with as much as that box is settled, there could be damage to the joints. It did exactly what I was fearful that it would do.
So in the meantime, that road is closed.
And yes, it's closed.
And that was closed by a contractor with
Yes,
Big X.
yes, it was a
So,
subcontract that they had hired. So, anyway, that's all I have on my list. Unless you guys have something for me.
I did meet with Tina and you. We went over some projects, because I feel like we have some projects coming up, and I want to make sure that we have the financing for them. So I did another Excel spreadsheet.
Thank you.
And I would like to then, I've got actually a book that I have all the paperwork that goes with our state approval with KDOT, any correspondence, with also our engineer, anything. So at least I'm gonna leave this here. So if we have questions on the projects, we have the paperwork. I believe these are all the projects that we went over. The first two, 21st and Plummer intersection will be taken out of ARPA. And I'm sorry, that 3,000 tons is supposed to be on a different project. No idea what that's there. And then the hospital conference center is coming out of the pilot funds. I think those have been taken out now. Half of it is from ARPA and half of it's from the pilot fund. So then here pretty shortly will be the Grady Road Bridge and Overlay. So these are my estimates. I'm sorry, Mike, here. I think you probably have one, but of the total cost, and then how much is grant, how much the county is responsible for, and the engineer on that project. Then the overlay, of course, we aren't having a grant match on that. We were doing that just for county. So that's about $700,000 that we'll be looking at shortly that we need to fund. Then the 210th bridge replacement, hopefully. Oh, that is the one just west of the airport,
And I'm,
which we don't have any information on at this
I'm
time.
gonna meet with Kenny Blair tomorrow with CFS and, discuss with him hopefully some low-cost options for that bridge.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I forgot, I left that off my report.
That's the 210?
Yes, 210th west of Chase.
Okay.
Just west of the airport.
and then we have the North River Bridge, which we just now are getting finalized, but I think that's the estimated cost. The state is matching 5.4, and the engineer estimated our price to be 2.2 million.
Yes.
It's a couple of years off, a year off, or whatever.
And hopefully I'll have an agreement for that, for the engineering agreement with CFS at the next meeting. And the state, I don't know, their agreement will be coming soon. I don't know if I'll have it by the next meeting.
Okay.
But they have to, all these projects that were awarded, it takes a little time to go through them, but I've talked to Wally Martin with CFS, and he has been in contact with Lynn Burgess, and it's all in the works. It's just gonna
Sure.
take some time to have the agreements to get before you.
So then at the bottom are some road and bridge funds that we have on our fund, on the fund status reports. I went back to when I started in 19. There's two, the special bridge and special machinery basically have been at the same balance. So I think what we need to do, when the timing is right, to meet with the treasurer and maybe the clerk and see, are there any certain stipulations on those accounts? Could we use those? Then there's also the special highway. And then I'd like to have the road and bridge explained. Those are balances at the end of the year.
Carryover.
Carryover, why does it have that carryover? What monies come in and out? That road and bridge account, the 100, has money coming in and out. I'd like to get that explained of what tax money goes in and what comes out. I think it must just go to your general budget, but I'm not for sure. So then there's also the 2 checks that we received in the last few months for the KDOT and then the Monarch check. So that's just kind of where we can start with the funds. I think with having Grady Road, the 2 projects, we need to pinpoint where that's gonna come out of. We didn't budget for it, but obviously we have some funds. There's also the pilot fund. So that's just kind of, I just wanna keep on top of those. The information is here as far as engineer and what agreements we have with KDOT. So as we get more information, I'll add that to this and just leave this here. So if anything comes up during our meetings, we'll have that. And I think in the meantime, we need to have these funds explained to us to see if they're available for projects or, the more idle funds that can be used. In my opinion, there might be other funds or, I don't know.
Well, and that was a question I had of our fund balances,
Yep.
of the financials, it still does not list on that one, CSE, the money market, or doesn't list any of the municipal investment pool or CDs.
Okay. So those are things, I think the treasurer is very busy right now with end of the year and getting started, that I have not approached her at all. Just gonna give her some time till next month. But something that with the Grady Bridge coming up, we need to look at that, so. And then how much money we had left over in Road and Bridge at the end of their budget year.
The 12th month was over 900,000, not counting the 13th month.
I haven't looked to see what
just
I haven't looked at the
financials
budget
the other
summaries
day,
right
so.
now. For this
I was
month.
just thinking that, anyway. So those are things that we need to, I wanna continue to look at these and be prepared for them and be able to do these projects that need to be done. So I'm very excited about the North River Bridge and the investment that the state's making in our roads, in our bridge. It's not a state highway, and it's just very critical to Chanute and, traffic coming in and out. With the manufacturing that's up north of Chanute, there's just so much traffic that uses that road, so.
Yeah, at one point a few years ago, we did a traffic count and it was like 3,500 cars a day down that road. And that was not when the 169 rebuild project was going.
And that probably wasn't when B and W's at.
It's well in the 6,000 when you consider the three, the Harper Douglas.
Right. A lot of traffic up there. So this is as good a deal as we're gonna get on that bridge replacement.
So I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, that I'm starting to look at that and just kind of gathering information. We've all been given the information, but after gathering it is, and keeping track of it is a little bit different, so. I think that's all I have.
Hey, Mike, can we figure out a way to get some of the dust out of those chips? We can, but we can't afford it. Well, we used to have. They can be washed and they can be pre-treated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the cost, I shouldn't say we can't afford it, but I know it's very expensive. We used to have a small screen plant. We screened them twice and that really helped. But I noticed. Did they sell it or did we don't have another? I think they got rid of the small one, but I don't think it would be that big a deal. I don't know if you could run, you have to ask Chris about this, where you could run those chips back through the crusher, open the jaws up, run through the screen plant again. Because I noticed the ones over at St. Paul, what they swept up were good chips and what stuck was dust. Well, and when there's a few extra chips on top of the road that are loose, as cars drive over them, it grinds it together and creates some dust. But it seems like the problem where we have dust is in the in town and like up on Lakewood Lane where speed limit is 20 miles an hour. We use the exact same process on the rural areas and we don't have a problem. But because the traffic just beats it off there, higher speed, it kind of makes the dust go away. So, maybe there's a way to clean the chips that we use in town, or maybe those places can buy their chips like the city of Chanute does. They buy theirs from Joplin Chat, and the chips that they use there, they don't have any dust in them. That would be an option for the cities to use if they choose to. Right.
It's the chips that were put down
Yeah,
last year.
as they are now, they're
It's
getting them
problems,
for free,
right?
so. But it's just the nature of the beast. There are ways to control the dust, and treating them with oil is one way to do it. I've talked to our oil supplier about that, but not in great detail, because he just mentioned that it's pretty costly. So. I think it's something we need to look into, see if we can. And some of the other counties, the district meeting, well, you were at that meeting up in Garnett last year. The guy was discussing just doing a scrub seal process, and they didn't chip and seal. They just scrub sealed the road with oil and putting chips down just to seal the cracks off. I don't know if I would.
You've never done that before?
Well, no, we haven't done that, but it's not a hard process, but, as time moves forward, you chip and seal and you're just adding layers to your road, and by adding layers, you get a little bit more strength, you're not getting much, but over time it all adds up. But, when you just put the oil down, you just seal the cracks off and that's it. But you don't have a dust problem.
Lack of rain since putting
Right,
the
there's-
chips down
there's a
has
lot
not
of-
helped.
There's
The
a lot of
situation,
factors that
so-
went into this, and, we have the same problem over in St. Paul as we did on Lakewood Lane, and we've been over there on Lakewood Lane trying to sweep that up, and we've had complaints because we're making dust while we're trying to get it swept up.
I mean, you can tell that it's been swept up, but the dust is still the same.
Well, we're still working on it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I drove through on my way over here and
And,
there is still a dust problem,
our
but
intention is to sweep it as best we can and get as much of the loose material off there, and then we're gonna take our tanker truck up there and flush it. And hopefully that'll, and then after that, that's all we can do.
Right.
So,
until,
and then,
Late
you know,
summer,
maybe
we'll
next
get it
summer,
again.
if the commission wants to, we can consider fog sealing it or something like that.
okay.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Is that all department heads? Including you, Brent, I guess? Do you have anything?
We'll have some things on closing out some funds and some things that I discussed with Sydney today. We can either do those now or we can do those at the,
We'll go down the list, how about that?
sounds good.
So the first thing on the list is the procurement policy. I put that on the agenda. Just, it has been a couple of years since it's been brought up. So I think Commissioner Gilmore was looking into this.
Yeah, then with Heather, she was going to a clerk's meeting and was able to enlist surrounding counties
And they have a copy of the Montgomery in their packet.
of the ones so far. I came across the Montgomery County procurement process. Seems to be the most thorough. I wanted to get you guys that to get some ideas where you're, give you the information. Maybe you can go through and edit out things you want to change or to add to. But I know it's quite lengthy. I just wasn't gonna throw you at it. And as I was crossing through, there's some different amounts I want to put in there. I would like to see in there. And there's things that are not pertinent to our county.
So what do you like about this that's different than what we had?
Stricter guidelines, more oversight.
Okay,
It raises some limits in certain areas, but it puts hard, fast numbers that more clearly read out. Shows how they will accept. Everything usually gets a 3-bid process and it's filtered through the clerk's office, the majority of it, and or department head. There's some things that, on the lower amounts, under the 3,000, I kinda like the idea of not having to just go have 2 elected officials that we designate would sign off on anything under 3,000. And anything over 3,000 would still come, the bid process would come to the commission. Allen County's was all pretty good, and Levett's was good. I mean, there was several good options in there, but just when they compiled all of them, to see what Montgomery County was, and I really wasn't wanting to reinvent the wheel, but it lays it out pretty clear. I mean, there's emergency capabilities for the department, but then it also talks about grant funding, procurement procedures, and federal monies. How we will handle the bid process in there, so.
okay.
Just more informational, because I know first came on, we had that one that was pretty vague.
Sure.
It was, I printed our original one. 94, one that we've always operated under prior was one page. Not real clear.
Montgomery's was more clear on the bid process for
Yeah.
sure, and the others just laid out more wording to it. And then I like how it goes more into detail, into the code of conducting your purchasing through the bids. You know, it just kind of touches, the staff shall discourage the offer and decline individual gifts or gratuities. No employee should participate in the selection or administration of a vendor for that bid. So it kind of touch bases and all of that, so it prevents and has that wording for conflicts of interest.
Yeah, we need something in place. And I wanna say that our department heads, elected officials have been great through this whole, I think, 2.5 years of not having one in place. We haven't had any new department heads, except for sheriff, who has probably been doing most of this anyway for the last several years. I think everyone's been fair, everyone's, come to us. And I think we just need to have everything clearly in a procedure and a policy that's clear to everyone.
As not just procurement, I also want to look like services or legal or accounting fall under this, any type of outside
Okay.
services.
Okay, well, I think we can look at that and
Make notes. So I have
discuss that
something.
again. But, thank you.
Well, Heather did legwork while she was at her meeting and got it me the information by Friday. Was it Friday?
Last Thursday, kind of went into some more details on some things.
As soon as I put it on the agenda.
Well,
I knew you got, anyway.
I've had the other one. I scanned and copied it. Heather, the ones that I kind of butchered it up, so I don't know. I'm presenting it. This one had
Okay.
a lot better wording,
Yeah.
a lot more teeth to it too, as far as.
Great, I just think we need to be working on it, so we will look at that again. And Brett has that too,
Yes.
so. Okay, we did the neighborhood revitalization resolution,
Roads.
and we also did the other. So closing out and clearing of funds.
I spoke with Sydney today, and she had identified 10 funds that she felt we could close out. I believe she spoke with Rodney about these as well. And most of these are old grant funds, but she felt comfortable going ahead and closing those out and sending, they would go to 3 different funds. 8 of them would go into the general fund, 1 into the drug education donation fund, and 1 into 911. If you like, I can read the specifics on each one, or I can just read some of the totals, whatever information the commission would like.
Maybe just pass us along the
So-
information. at the end of the
Okay,
email.
I can do that. And if we're able to transfer these funds, we decide to do that, the total to the general fund would be about $35,464. Total to 911 emergency would be $328.75, and then there'd be $1.46 to the drug education fund. But considering I've only been kind of working on looking at these for a couple of weeks, I think finding those and getting those transferred and closed out is a very positive sign. Also, and Cindy said she'd be happy to come down and speak with you on either the closing the accounts or there were a couple transfers that she felt needed to be made because the 2023 budget accounts for these funds, but they've not been transferred into the general fund yet. But one of them is there's a noxious weed capital outlay fund, $20,181 that needs to be transferred. And the wind farm contribution fund of $900,000 needs to be transferred in. And she said that needed to be done today so that that can show up as transferred in 2022 for use in the 2023 budget. And again, she's willing to come down and visit with us if we have any questions on those, but she did ask if the commission would pass them. But would make and approve a motion transferring those two funds.
I'm sorry, how much was innocuously 20?
$20,181.28.
So my understanding on the pilot fund was that 900,000 was for the 22 budget, and then for the 23 budget was 400,000. The 900,000 for the 22 budget has not been done.
Okay, I'm just going with what she told me today when we met. So if we want to have her come down and explain that,
Okay.
she can certainly do that.
For sure I brought budgets.
Thank you.
Is that your understanding?
Yeah.
The budget we just passed was
Right.
400,000. Again, my question is, we've met all of our obligations, why do we need to transfer that money?
Apparently, according to my notes here, Cindy said we're using it as carryover on the 2023 budget. If not transferred to general, then that could cause some issues with the budget. But she's here now, so roll.
Hello.
Okay, so my understanding is for the 22 budget, we had budgeted a transfer of $900,000 out of the pilot fund. For the 23 budget, we budgeted $400,000 out of the pilot fund. So the $900,000 hasn't come out for the 22 budget, correct?
Correct. You had asked me to hold off on making that transfer for a while, and but it needs to be transferred to be used as carryover for the 2023 budget. That's how you had budgeted for it in 2022.
Enough to decide,
And-
not spend it until we meet our obligations for.
And then in 2023, if you want to move that 400,000, then you'll make a motion for me to transfer that.
And if we don't make those transfers,
Then you won't have the carryover. You won't have as much carryover for it. I mean, you
Because-
guys set the budget, not me.
right? Well, it seems like we've made all of our obligations. Again, it's the carryover of, do we need that money?
Well, we'll need it eventually for 2023. When you did your 2023 budget, you planned on putting 900,000 in at the end of this year, or at the end of 2022, plus another 400 from 2023, to keep the millage down for 2023. So you will need it eventually. It's just a matter if you want to do it now or later in the year.
I can't reflect it in 2022 for very much longer.
And it doesn't have to be done in 2022 if you don't want. You can do it in 2023. It's just a matter of, you're gonna need to be able to pay all your bills throughout the whole year.
It's not clean to do it in 22.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we budgeted for.
Well, it was budgeted in the 23 budget to do it in 2022.
Right.
It wasn't done in the 2022 budget.
But we didn't use it all.
Well, we did. That's how we were gonna meet our budget for 22, was to have that $900,000 transferred, correct?
I don't think it was in the 2022 budget, was it?
Yes.
It's on the 2022 budget
Yes.
transfer list.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then if you made it through the year without needing it, then yeah, you can leave it.
That's what, the way we,
That's
The
why
only
I
thing you
brought it
may
up.
Well,
need-
he
you may
asked
need
me to
this year.
ask you if you would move it, so I'm just here
Well, I
asking.
mean,
I don't.
I've just been waiting, like, I mean, yeah, if we don't need it, I feel like we should leave it in the pilot fund.
I don't know.
But when you need
I would then propose we make a motion to not
To leave it,
transfer.
you have
and
it on
leave
the list of transfers.
So that way it's trackable and clean to what we can know what happened.
Until it's needed, I don't think you're gonna need it later this year. Because we budgeted for you to have it on hand in the general fund starting this year.
Okay. Sydney will let us know.
Okay, so you want a motion not to transfer it at this time?
Yes,
That's-
please, because I'm not taking the heat for this later. And, I don't watch budgets, that'd be the clerk's office, so she can hopefully track that.
I mean, there's been other transfers that we approved during the budget that we never made. I didn't realize that we had to have separate, my first year or two, I didn't realize it had to be a separate motion. I'm assuming when we passed the budget, we approved those transfers. So like with the HVAC, that's where I got kind of confused on funds, because one year we set up 200,000 aside and then we had set out some more. I assumed that accumulated, but we never made a motion, so I didn't realize we started over with the year. So either way, I don't think we got in trouble for not making those transfers, but
Well, in the budget, you're giving yourselves the authority to make the transfer, or you're planning on making the transfer. If you end up not needing it, you don't make the transfer then.
Okay.
But to actually move the money, you have to give her the authority to do that in a motion.
Which is separate than approving the budget.
I know that now, so.
Which entails that there's an over budget. If we're budgeting where we're not using the funds.
Right. So this is our balance right now, in the pilot fund, at a 2.4.
I'd make a motion not to transfer it at this time.
The 900,000 we budgeted for the 22.
For the 22.
I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carried.
And the noxious weed balance was to close that fund out, so it would need to be transferred. If you make a motion for that one, please.
And where are we transferring that
We're gonna
to?
transfer into
It's under general fund now.
Cause we didn't budget anything for that.
Right.
23.
Originally, that was transferred from noxious weed fund years ago to set aside for equipment.
It's been there forever.
And noxious weed ended up getting close to the general, so that's where we just go back to.
I'll make a motion to close out the noxious weed fund by transferring $20,181.28 into the general fund.
second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Did we want to do the 10 phones or let's,
No, I can recite those and, since Cindy's here, she can comment on them.
okay,
Basically, we have a Fund 008, which is drug abuse resistance education. There's a balance of $1.46 that the city would propose closing that fund into Fund number 420, the Drug Education Donation Fund. There's Fund number 125, which is an E911 grant. Balance in that fund is $328.75. City's proposing closing that fund out into Fund number 126, which is the 911 Emergency Telephone Fund. And the rest of these would all be closed out into Fund 001, which is the general fund. The first would be a noxious weed grant, which is Fund 109. That's in the amount of $402.35. The second is Fund number 350, which is Environmental Protection P. The balance in that account is $17,202.78. The next fund is Fund number 427, Hazardous Material Classes. There's that would be $15.55. Next is number 428, 2 Community Emergency Response, $1.18 to the general fund. Next is 429, Community Emergency Response. There's $9,795.21. Then we have the LEOP Review and Update Fund. The balance in that account is $47. The next is the Supplemental Resource Typing Grant. There's a balance of $8,000 in that account, or that fund, which would be closed out to the general fund. And then finally, Fund number 974 with a balance of 34 cents. which brings a total of, 35,464.41 to the general fund. 328.75 to, 911 emergency telephone, and, $1.46 to drug education donation fund.
I'm sorry, what is the very first one that you had?
The drug,
Number.
very first number was,
Eight.
008, yes,
And then the next one was
was 109,
and 120. Okay,
so.
sounds good. I'll make a motion that we close the accounts presented by the counselor and making transfers as recommended.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Motion carried.
I think Cindy did a great job.
Thank
and
you.
Rodney helped, putting this together, and so maybe we're on the road to getting some of those.
Thank you.
Pulled out.
If you do have some funds in particular that you would like looked at, if you could just either get a list to me,
Okay.
to Brett, or,
Can I give you this list?
yeah?
If you were listening with Road and Bridge,
Yes,
these are the 100 accounts.
yes.
And so I guess my question is, what funds can we use? Do we have to use them for a certain project or like highway or machinery, or can we just lump those in? And I kind of have the balances there since I started, it's pretty well the same. They change a little bit. The first one, the 100 definitely has money in and out. I guess I'd like to have that explained.
Special bridge and special highway was for projects when we had carryover, liberal, or those special funds. And that's why it hadn't been touched for years.
Well, highway has been touched because that's where we do chip and seal. It's the other
Special
one. What was
bridge,
the other
special
one?
Special machinery is the other one.
Special bridge, special machinery are the two that haven't really been, except for past taxes there's like, dollars that get put in there.
They were set in budgets a long time ago.
The special bridge fund used to be where you levy like 2 or 3 mills a year and build up and build a bridge every 10 years or whatever. And or you just your match, your portion of the state funded bridge. It's a separate mill levy for just bridges only. And you can make culverts out of it too.
But nothing's going in there now.
I think that's right. We haven't levied for
If,
several years.
yeah, if anything was levied way back and there was a tax paid on it, delinquent tax, it would go in there, but that's it.
So our question is, at the top of that is some projects that we have coming up when we were looking at funding. We were wondering if we can use some of those funds. So that's something that we can talk about in the future, but there's about $700,000 in projects that we need to commit funds to. And that's what's basically in those two funds.
Yeah.
So with those projects leaving $900,000 in the pilot fund gives us a lot more freedom than putting that $900,000 into the general fund.
Yeah,
So,
probably just have to try to find whatever set them up, however they were set up, what authority that
way
was.
before your time.
Yeah, and see just what
Okay.
the stipulations are on that. See if I can find something like a resolution or something like that.
Okay, because again, they seem kind of like idle funds, not the 100, but the other ones. And the special highway has been used,
Especially
obviously.
highways, yeah.
We need to look at that one.
And then road and bridge, I mean, they bring in money from collections, but not like.
Does it come into that fund and then it's transferred into their budget? There's in and out in that account, so.
Well, the out would be what they budgeted to spend, and then they would.
But that's, the account's not budgeted, is it? That's a fund.
100?
For bridges.
On 100 is,
Okay,
that's Road and Bridges fund, but that's what it's budgeted under.
okay.
Just like Health Department's Fund 112, and, law enforcement's 150. So there's.
Okay, these are always things I'm learning. Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
so
the actual
their budget
account.
is under that fund, yes, so
So the
each
budget itself
ledger-
is
Mhm.
broken down, but it actually, then that account is,
Just like general carries over a
Okay.
balance, Road and Bridge does the same thing. They have their budgeted amount to spend, but they do have some revenue that comes in, or anything that they did not spend in that budget year, it rolls over and stays in that fund.
Okay.
Same with, Fund 150 and Fund 112 for law enforcement and health department.
Okay.
They're the same way. He does have some receipting, like when he sells a culvert or whatever they take money in for. But it's not a lot. I mean, it's not enough to pay for a project.
Okay.
But the other 3 are not like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just have to try to do some research on those and see.
Those are some questions I had on the fund. So.
I can help you with those if you want. Special machinery originally came from Road and Bridge Fund. You're authorized to transfer up to 25% of your budget at the end of each year into that fund. And the special highway is the same way.
So when did that stop?
When they ran out of money back in Road and Bridge, they stopped making the transfers.
2013.
They were doing it every year, they make a transfer at the end of every year, but then they got.
2012, 2013.
So all the money that's in there's been there since then, untouched.
We had to come up with settlement money in budgets for escrow litigation.
And I think, do we include transferring one of those back to Road and Bridge this year in the budget? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay, must have another, I had another county that did that, I can't remember if or not. The money that's in the funds can't go back to the Road and Bridge Fund, that's where it came from originally. So if he needs cash, you can transfer it back over there and use it.
And if there's any carryover, like for 22 then, are we allowed to transfer into one of those funds?
Yeah.
To hold that
Out of
money?
Road and Bridge, you can put up to 25% of the Road and Bridge budget in either one of those two funds.
25% of the budget or 25% of what's
Right.
left
25%
over?
of the budget. Like if you budget $1 million, you can put 250,000 in one and 250,000 in the other. You never have that much left at the end of the year to do it, but that's the limit on the statute.
Yeah, we do this year.
So then can they spend out of those funds?
Then those are reserve funds, they're not required to be budgeted, you can spend that whenever. But machinery can only be spent on machinery, and highway can only be spent on road projects like special like chip and seal and that.
So when you're saying the two funds, you're saying special machinery and special highway,
Right.
not the special bridge.
Right. Special bridge had its own tax levy over time, but
Okay, so
we
that
haven't levied
one's,
for several years there.
But nothing's levied into it anymore, though, is it?
Not for several years.
no. So it would depend on what these road projects were, if you could use special highway or not.
If it's for a road project, you can use special highway. And you can use special bridge by culverts, if you're, trying to shorten road bridge runs.
Okay.
It's supposed to be for bridges or approaches to bridges. Then they changed the statute to include culverts too.
And then the special machinery they could use now, like equipment reserve.
So, Road 100, the difference between this and this?
Special equipment, can you pay your lease purchase agreements out of that?
If it's for equipment, yeah,
That's for equipment.
like on your grader, you can pay your grader payments out of that. special
Instead of out of the
equipment.
general. Contractual.
Which brings me to my spreadsheet. This is my last one. I've been working on outstanding loans. Heather gave us this information, but it wasn't in an Excel spreadsheet. So, if you want to know how much debt we have, this gives you the debt. And I think we probably could have just got this off of our audit. That gives you also the interest rates. You wanted to know what the interest rate was and when they're paid off and how much we're paying this year. And I don't know if we're exactly correct on that, or are we, you had the excavator on there, but you didn't have any information on it.
We paid it off for
Okay.
22.
I thought so. I just
Our
didn't have
last
time
three-
to ask you
That was
about
3
it.
payments and the last one
Okay.
was last year.
So that's just some more information. So if that's $400,000 that's going out this year, if we could use an asset fund, a fund outside of equipment reserve or something that, anyway, just so we had some hard figures, I believe these are and it also includes the HVAC. So it's not all equipment. So Heather and I were working on that. Well, I think maybe everyone worked on it.
Well, the HVAC is really a majority of that debt.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So, I mean, that's good though. We've paid off a lot of the.
It's not as high as I thought it was.
It was quite a bit.
We've come down a lot since just 2019.
And then like we're getting 2 dump trucks in the next month, hopefully, and that's gonna come out of the pilot fund without any kind of debt, so.
So if you could use special machinery, you could almost pay for all of these.
As far as goes back to the idle funds, have we got anywhere with the interest rates on?
I'm going to have a meeting with Mark Lair, and discuss that with him on the main banking, which is where we have most of our fees. So yes, I have set up a meeting with him, maybe email him back and get a time, and then I will have something to bring back to you on that.
Okay. I think it's up to 3 something. Is that the municipal investment pool?
Like 3.83%. And banking interest is going up. 1.31% is what we got for December.
It's not like paying 3% interest in order to get the one back, so.
A lot of our loans that as you can see are not 3%, so. That's
Money
good
to be
news.
used somewhere else.
In 2 days, 3 days, I am attending the budget workshop in El Dorado. I guess there's 30 people coming, so I think it will be good and maybe answer some questions of how much funds should we keep back and just a lot about the budget, so. I wish I would have asked you, Sydney, to come a couple of months ago. I know it's difficult to get away. It'll be interesting, so. That's all I have.
Yeah,
I appreciate all your work here of getting 22 closed.
Yeah, I'll
She's
be,
here, can I interrupt real quick? Thanks, Heather. I've come down the last, several days of the last 3 weeks or so, we got the bank accounts all reconciled and caught up.
Can you like make sure the public hears this, because this is good news?
I've been coming down several days over the last 3 weeks and helping Sydney get the bank reconciliations caught up. And we've got all the banks caught up to the end of December, all balanced, and all the adjustments made to correct everything. There's just a few things we've got to check with Cindy and payroll how to handle them, but majority of these are all caught up now. So your banks, when you look at a report, you know that's what matches what's happening in your bank.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yep.
I know it's, Sydney's been busy. All right. Thank you for coming down.
yes.
Do you have anything else for us?
On the transfer list, you said that they should put that upcoming December meeting agenda to do, like the.
Any year-end transfers, y'all do them at the end of the year, like in December, if you're gonna do them.
Like the 400,000 they're talking about in 2023.
Well, they can do that anytime during the year, but if it's one they're gonna do at the end of the year, then you have to do it before the year ends.
So how do they tell what is end of year and what can be done anytime?
It depends when they need the money. If John needs the money in June, then you can say, come to them, tell me to make a transfer then.
Okay, but how do I tell if they need,
Because John funds in the red.
just wait till then?
If you go to pay bills and John can pay the bills 1 month, then it's.
Okay, so that would come, so clerk's going to have to know to watch that balance and.
No, clerk watches the budget balance. You're looking
Right,
at
but
cash
she
balance.
just, yes, which would come from AP paying stuff out, so they'll get the warning and it'll come to me.
That's when we get those
Yes, and you
negative
come
that
and ask
prompts
me the
error
question,
and
yes, hey, is
prompts
this
the
okay, yeah, okay. So, I don't know, I guess. I don't know. a better
Sure,
way to
we'll work
handle-
together to.
I just don't know a better way to handle the transfer list. You just do them whenever. It's just, I don't know. Seems like there'd be a better way. Okay, yes. Were there other funds, Gail, that you wanted to compile and send, or since we kind of have these off, figured
Sorry,
out?
I've been trying to just focus on that.
Okay.
I mean, the, small business loans, at what point, we need to close that,
Yeah,
our last account.
microloans, yes.
And those funds will revert back to the state.
Yes.
Yeah, Department of Commerce has sent those to us. And then we have the old ones that are just standing out, I don't know what to do with those, the ones that defaulted and never paid,
I
they're
think
again.
we can wipe their, that away
You just
through
make
a
a motion
motion.
to-
We've done it in the past on one of the other ones that
Okay,
got
'cause there will
close
be
and
some-
we just wiped it out.
Oh, those old loans, you mean?
Yeah.
Or ask the state, how do I close out this account?
Yeah, because those won't be paid, they're.
No,
Levesque County did the same thing last year, they just had to make a motion to close them out
Yeah.
and basically freeze the loan.
So we'll probably have to do
Yeah.
that.
We just wanna make sure we have everything the state needs to
Yeah.
balance and just be done with it.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know, I haven't really looked at any of the other ones, I was just looking at Road and Bridge right now.
They still show up on the fund status as zeros. I'll have to figure out how to actually get them off of there to shorten that list. So you'll still see zeros.
Yeah.
Probably for a little bit.
Until
I know
budget time or the end of the year.
at the end
What
of
was
the
it?
year is when they allow you to close out ledgers and things that have no history for that year. But I will try to see if there's a way to do it before then, just to kind of condense those reports a little bit better. So I'll just have to reach out and ask about that, but for sure at the end of the year, you can put an end date on them. You can keep the history, but they won't show up into that next year. So, I think that's it, I think that's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thanks.
thanks, Cindy.
All right, so next, I think we have the opening of the county auditor bids. Again, this was for 22, correct? So we have two. There's a letter over there.
Thank you.
I do not. So one is from James Gordon and Associates out of Manhattan. I would prefer to probably get copies of these and to be able to look at them for the next 2 weeks and so sorry, Rodney, the first one, we have two bids. The first one is from James Gordon and Associates out of Manhattan. It looks like they have some experience with government and county and city audits. I think the other one
Get
is,
a sharp one.
use your knife, the other one is from Rodney.
Sorry.
So I think the best thing would be to allow us to look at these and research these for 2 weeks and then come back. I don't think we had any stipulation in our bids on these.
Nice. Chastity's on her way to make copies.
Perfect. This is quite easy. Okay. Okay, sorry.
Try out my picture.
Thank you, Chastity. Thank you.
You want a
Can you
copy
make
for
one
each?
for Brett also?
Brett, and then we keep original.
So one for each of you?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think the only thing left then is a non-elected.
So, 15 minutes, please. Road and bridge landfill. With, commission, Brett, Heather, and Mike.
Under, it's not really non-elected, or is it non-elected?
I mean, it depends what the subject matter of the exec's gonna be. The non-elected personnel,
Yes.
I'll move to recess into executive session to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel regarding, the landfill with road and bridge for 15 minutes to include the commission, council, road and bridge director, and HR. What did you say? I'm sorry. To resume back here at 4:40.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Somebody took our trash cans.
Oh, it's right there. Nick, not taking one, he put it over there.
exec. I was talking to cities. What, I'll talk to you later. He's been wanting one for a while. Oh, that's the one he was in Colfax.
Still good news. Still good news.
Okay, we're back in session and no action was taken. I think we'd like to have an attorney-client executive session to update us on litigation.
I think 5 minutes will be sufficient.
Okay, I'll move to recess into the executive session to discuss matters deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship regarding litigation for 5 minutes to include the commission and council, and to resume back here at 4:45.
Second motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
So when you guys select the next one, Heather, per employee of the month,
I'm sorry, what?
when you select the next employee of the month?
So we're receiving applications now, and then, the next meeting we'll probably go ahead and make that
Gabby,
selection.
Gabby was telling me somebody brought her in a laminated copy of it, did you know that?
No, that was nice, probably a constituent.
Was, what'd you say, Sheila or something, Sheila, Shelby, something like that. And then somebody else called her or emailed her congratulations.
Well, good, good.
Always good to have that positive.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You gotta look for the good.
Not sure about that. We're back in session and no action was taken. Okay, we need to talk about our next meeting. I think, we decided to meet at 9:30 in the morning. Is everyone signed up?
30th, right?
31st.
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 Is everyone signed up for the Southeast Kansas Community Event with Wichita State? That's what is in the afternoon, at 12:30. So that means we have to have a 2.5 hour meeting.
Oh, we did. We got her close to that today.
And we covered a lot.
That February.
Okay, yeah, when are we gonna meet after that? You don't wanna meet on Valentine's Day.
I think I can't do the Friday before.
Okay.
I got 2 staff out for vacation,
Okay,
which I never let happen. They don't usually ask for permission, they just say I'm gonna be gone.
so
That next Tuesday is,
the Tuesday after?
yeah. The 20th?
Yeah, see, it's a day after President's Day. Can you do another day of the week?
I could probably at that time, I could schedule something, like Thursday.
The 16th?
Mm-hmm. Would that work?
I think so.
I won't be here the 15th and 17th.
They just tell us when they're gonna be gone.
I'll be out of town.
If I had enough time, I could probably go do, what about 15? Go the day after Wednesday?
I only have the 13th for me, that week.
I mean, it'd be difficult to come back on the 21st if you're gonna be gone Wednesday through that Monday. Probably not the best.
Yeah, that week.
Can you do the 13th?
No, that's the week. Sure.
Oh, okay.
She thinks I need to be around.
Yeah, you could do it the 7th, since the 31st meeting may end up being short.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
true.
a week apart, and
And off to the summer.
That whole week. The 1st to 10th is, as I said, I have no coverage, at least. One of my other options is had a baby, so you know.
That takes priority.
I could do it probably any day, I don't know.
We can do the 21st, I just may not, you know, you don't have to bombard me Monday, with all your issues.
Monday is a holiday. It's President's Day.
Call me.
That's not part of your, I don't know if you're gonna be gone all the way from
No, I mean.
Wednesday through Monday.
No.
That week after.
After
Val-
the,
Valentine's Day would be any day, I can probably make it at work during that week.
it's up to you. I don't have to be here, but
It's up to you. I mean,
I don't
whatever,
do any day that week, I'm good for.
any day this week,
No,
except for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You're the one
No,
that said-
she, Daryl will be recovering from that time, so.
She won't know whether you're.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't you have the meds, like, just?
Or the week,
She'll never
I think
miss
the
you.
week of the
We're
20th.
gonna miss me off for a couple
I'm trying
hours.
to
I mean,
think
do you
of-
wanna do the 13th?
13th would be great.
That's surgery day, I can't do that.
Oh.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
And
okay.
then 1
Third
through
is,
10 is work, okay.
do the next week is what?
21st. See, Monday is a holiday.
We can move it, can you do like about Wednesday? What if we do Wednesday?
Yeah, so that's fine. I'm pretty good at
50
that.
or the-
The 22nd?
22nd, and we're gonna come back that next
Yep.
Tuesday.
Yep. We'll have them quickly.
Wednesday, the 22nd.
I mean, we're canceling the Valentine's meeting.
Shucks. I'm looking for some candy. So it's Ted, and I was waiting for this next
2 o'clock.
month to be over for me.
Yeah,
2 o'clock.
Keep it at 2.
Yeah.
So we will roll over AP, so it'll still go through like we do, and so we'll look for your approval on that report.
Okay.
So they still go out on time, but then how we have done it in the past is anything that they're in question of or uncertain about, we hold those completely.
Okay.
And they hold off until they come back.
Okay, all right.
So any normals, utilities and things like that.
Okay.
And make those changes on the website.
So we're going to be off 3 weeks in a day. Okay.
Maybe just a second, and then we come back to the 28th.
Or we could have a meeting with that, but that's okay. We will do this for you. Okay, so we'll be back on the 31st at 9:30 in 2
You ain't
weeks.
getting,
Try this. Okay, next meeting, we will look at the audits, bids. Anyone got anything else? While
Yeah,
we're
I've
here?
got one more thing I about forgot.
Oh, for today's meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a little short. Had a couple people call me up about, we talked about extending the sales tax to improve roads.
Uh-huh.
And they were wanting to know if we could go ahead and make a motion to extend that.
To look into it? I
We're
mean,
gonna put it on the 2024 general election ballot.
problem is we're too far out to anticipate when that'll pay off.
so we have to pay the bonds off.
Yeah, the bonds will have to be paid off and make sure we have that fund set aside. And we're at 2023, it's almost where you need to be closer to the payoff period.
Okay. All right, well, I was asked that.
Yeah, no, I'm not, and they
I
gotta
don't know
go
if I'm
through.
comfortable with that yet, as far as getting a date, and I think we should be preparing for that, but as far as I guess making a motion puts us on,
If they're late or we don't get the funds to pay it off, we can't really extend the taxes already in place.
so I guess we could say that the commission approves the process of a sales tax after the bonds are paid off.
That'll be probably 25.
Just a little too much if at this point.
You're looking think they can go and get the petition ready if they wanted to do that. They have to file a petition to bring it to us. If I'm not right, it's sort of a ballot initiative, right?
If they're, well,
It would have to be a ballot initiative. It's not us saying we're gonna continue the tax.
right.
Right.
But also, we don't want them bringing the initiative before we're in a position to commit to doing that.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe they're saying they want our commitment before they do all the footwork, but.
right.
I think
mean,
the
that's just
funds
something
will be there. There are no doubt we will be well ahead of schedule, but it's coming in, so.
Well, I think all three of us are on board,
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
for sure. I think they were just kind of wanting some commitment, but I get to see your point too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to commit something that we can't foresee. And I know they wanted, the 23 ballot, but that's even farther out to know when we're gonna actually have that paid off.
Right.
And we're gonna have to really get close to watching that here soon, because we don't know if that revenue is still collected, and we actually have enough funds to pay it off.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of projects out there. Okay, well, that's all I have. Commissioners, anything else? Heather, Brett? I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Get down to your office and sign